Back, we've shown you dozens of videos of people receiving their COVID-19 vaccination, but what if the vaccine is administered incorrectly? Could the shot be worthless? Well, that's a concern a viewer brought to Fox 11's Shaley Sanders, who got some answers.
I got the vaccine in Phoenix.
Tucsonan Jay Rietmulder recently booked a COVID-19 vaccination appointment at the Phoenix Municipal Stadium.
What did it feel like when you finally got that vaccine appointment?
I was so incredibly relieved.
But that relief turned to concern when Rietmulder arrived at the state's drive-through vaccination site.
The volunteer doctor reached into the car and turned my arm a bit and pinched the skin up and injected the needle at a kind of a 45-degree angle.
Rietmulder says he went home and did some research. He also got a second opinion.
I have a neighbor who is a retired doctor who saw the injection area, and he was very puzzled. There is definitely a chance it was not effective.
I took Rietmulder's story to Tucson family physician Dr. Katie Harrell.
When you bunch up the tissue, it can actually distort where that needle is supposed to go.
Is there really any reason to pinch the arm?
No.
Is it possible that we have people who are out there walking around thinking they have had an effective vaccine when really it's ineffective and they're really not protected against COVID-19?
Theoretically, it is certainly possible. I like to think that at least there would be some degree of absorption even from the subcutaneous tissue. However, the degree of absorption could be highly variable from person to person, and so the degree of effectiveness would be highly variable as well.
I asked Harrell to demonstrate the proper way to administer a COVID-19 vaccine.
So what I typically do is I do about 2 finger widths, and then I put my third finger down and lift those 2, and that right there would be the site where I would want to inject the vaccine. It wouldn't be wrong to even go a little bit lower. You could actually think of this as like a triangle right here.
Notice she never pinches the arm.
I always like to actually do sort of the opposite and spread the skin and brace and steady myself and then give the vaccine just like that.
Harrell says this vaccine should be given at a 90-degree angle. Rietmulder says this is not how the doctor administered his COVID-19 vaccine.
How frustrating is it to have gone through this, to have waited, first of all, for months for the vaccine, and then to have driven to Phoenix to get it, and then come home only to find out it quite possibly could have been administered incorrectly?
It was very frustrating. It was mind-boggling because I had my hopes up so high.
Rietmulder just received his second shot and says he had no side effects. His doctor has ordered an antibody test, which is scheduled for next week. I sent an email to the Arizona Department of Health Services about Rietmulder's concerns. Communication Director Steve Elliott sent this reply: "Thank you for bringing this patient's concerns to our attention. We would appreciate contact information so clinical staff can follow up with him. We place a high priority on the quality of patient care at our vaccination sites." Now, some of this video that you're seeing is from the University of Arizona's pod, where people can be seen pinching the skin. I asked Vice President of Communications Holly Jensen about proper vaccine administration. She sent me a statement that reads in part: "Our medical professionals review the recommended technique with all of our vaccinators, including proper injection site and techniques to avoid shoulder injury related to vaccine administration." Shaley Sanders, Fox 11 Investigates.